like and subscribe, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week. Music is incredible, and I'm sure it's brought great joy throughout all our lives. But the music business is a different story altogether. In the music business, there's a dark side. In this video, we'll look at the history of what some call the dark side of the music industry, and hopefully gain a better understanding of why it's called that and how we can bring the light. If you're a fan of music or an aspiring artist but have never taken the time to look into the industry's dark side, this is a video you don't want to miss. The history of the music industry. From the early days of slavery through the rise of the recording industry to the modern-day struggles of independent artists, the music industry has always been a cutthroat business. Even today, with the advent of digital streaming and downloads, the music industry is still a tough place to make a living. Sad to say, it's possible to trace the roots of the music industry back to slavery. It was common for slaves to be made to perform for their owners in the United States. Slave owners used this as a kind of entertainment and a technique to keep their slaves under their control. After slavery was finally abolished, minstrel shows grew more popular in the United States, while artists in blackface played stereotypes of black people in minstrelsy, an entertainment genre. Believe it or not, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has also partaken in this racist practice. This racist portrayal of black people was one of the first examples of what would later become a long-standing trend in the music industry of total control and subjugation using black culture to sell records. As America entered the 20th century, the rise of vaudeville and Tin Pan Alley gave birth to a new era of what we now call American pop music. Who runs the music business? Enter the bigwigs. A few major labels control the music industry and dictate what kind of music gets produced and promoted. The major labels, Sony, Warner, and Universal Music, control the majority of the market. More than 90% of the music business belongs to them. As a result, they determine which musicians become household names and which ones fade into obscurity, because they have complete say over who gets signed and who doesn't. Radio and streaming platforms like Spotify are also under their thumb. The big labels have a great deal of influence over the music business because of this monopolistic concentration of power, and they have the power to either make or ruin a person's career with the push of a button. This isn't to say that there's no place in the music business for independent musicians. Even though there are, the prominent label artists tend to eclipse them. Even if they succeed, they're typically only given a restricted platform to work with. There are just a few major players that govern the dark side of the music business. The majority of what we listen to and what we consume is entirely up to them. So if you're an aspiring songwriter or musician, keep this in mind. What happens to the artists? Long hours, difficult working conditions, and low pay are all possibilities. They can find themselves in debt, or even worse, homeless if they aren't cautious. Artists have to be careful of predatory managers, labels, and promoters who are more interested in making money than in helping them succeed. These people can take advantage of artists who are desperate for a break or who don't know how to negotiate. There's a flip side, as some artists become so successful that they forget what it was like to be struggling. They may grow conceited and demanding and begin to believe that they're superior to their fans. This might hurt their career in the future. The music industry can be a dark place, but many good people are also working in it. Artists just need to be careful and make sure they're being treated fairly. The music industry is notoriously tricky and punishing, making it a challenging environment to succeed. It may seem like a world of glamour and opportunity from the outside looking in, but the ugly reality is that many people employed in the business can't cover their basic living expenses. Due to the current 2022 recession, massive record-breaking inflation cause my money printer go burr, and the purposeful destruction of our supply chain, Many people are forced to work several jobs in order to make ends meet. And to top it off, the amount of money going to artists has decreased enormously.
They put up this big issue, but underneath that issue, there's like 17 other little laws that they threw in that they're not talking about. So when you say yes to this one thing, you're actually saying yes to like 45 other things.
The music business, as well as the way people listen to and create music, has all changed throughout time. First and foremost, your income. The entire income of the sector has markedly deteriorated since 1999. In 2003, Apple began offering per-track downloads at 99 cents, making it easier for anyone to get their hands on pirated music. As a result, streaming has become the de facto norm in the music industry. As we know, rather than owning music files, we get access to them via subscription services like Apple, Spotify, Pandora, etc. And we can now instantly access millions of songs with a click of a mouse or a voice command from Siri or Alexa. Why does it matter to us, and how can it be fixed? It's possible to make a difference by supporting campaigns that aim to improve the working conditions of those in the music business. Additionally, we can try to purchase from ethical firms and support artists devoted to making a positive difference. Every little bit helps, and we can all work together to build a more equitable and sustainable industry for everyone involved. Extortion in the music business is nothing new. Most individuals have experienced being exploited or regarded as commodities rather than human beings. But this can and will change, as I believe the music industry will become a decentralized free market, and it's only a matter of time. With blockchain technology, the music business has many exciting paths to explore for democratizing access to music. There has to be a reduction or elimination of the middleman, namely the labels and PRO, otherwise known as the Performing Rights Organization. Take Sound Exchange as an example. It collects digital public performance fees when songs are streamed on services like SiriusXM, Pandora, or cable music channels like Music Choice. The Digital Performance Right and Sound Recording Act of 1995 and the Digital Millennium Act of 1998 mandate these to be collected for works within their control, which is basically everything. Despite the fact that services like Apple Music and Spotify have made agreements with several music labels and publishers directly, bypassing Sound Exchange when dealing with royalties, Sound Exchange continues to play a seemingly vital role in the music industry. Artists and songwriters shouldn't have to wait years for their royalties to be distributed. We need a more equitable and streamlined system, and this is where blockchain comes in. Smart contracts make this possible. I don't know if you've heard of projects like Ethereum, but they mastered this. Pre-selling an album to fans in something like an ICO or initial coin offering would allow artists to work on projects without interference from greedy record labels or unsavory record companies, allowing them to focus on their creative aspects of the project. In exchange, they may secure all the distribution rights to their album and revenues over time. Wouldn't it be great to have a decentralized blockchain-supported repository? A place to store song metadata, including all of the right holders' identifying fingerprints, and potentially even their contracts, and a personal blockchain-based payment address for all of them. All of the revenues getting paid directly to the artist. We'd be off to a tremendous start in raising the bar for what's currently a dark, corrupt music business. Over time, we should be able to bring all this data together and remove the middle madmen. Only when this is established can a song's title be secured by simply making a claim on this decentralized blockchain. Counterfeiting will be very difficult, if not impossible, with blockchain-based transactions. This is all possible, and together we can bring the light. So now we all know the music industry can be a tough business, and it's easy to get caught up in the dark side of things. From the constant pressure to succeed to the cutthroat nature of this business, it's easy to see why so many people burn out. But if you can make it through the tough times, the music industry can be incredibly rewarding. So don't give up on your dreams. Keep fighting for them, and one day you just might make it to the top. Until next time, adios.